Hello, welcome to this week's MTV Junior, the very best show that you will watch this whole week, maybe this whole month, unless you watched another MTV Junior. This show is brought to you by Baron Hirsch, the best show in all of America. You cannot find a better place than Baron Hirsch. Okay, let's see. Let me introduce myself before we get on to what's on this week's show. My name is Rory Pilchowski, and this is my family. You can see that I have my wife next to me, beautiful, beautiful wife in a red skirt. And next to her are my 6 children, 5 girls and 1 little boy. And you can see he's being very serious. He doesn't want to smile because he thought that would be funnier not to smile than to smile. Well, but that's my lovely family. And let me show you where we live. We live in a beautiful place called Mitzvah Yericho. You can see the red balloon on the map right over there. That's where we live, right outside of Yerushalayim and near Yam HaMelach. We live in a desert in a place called Mitzvah Yericho. You can see it's written on the top there. And here's how beautiful it looks. It looks like a beautiful desert. You can see the mountains and you can see the sands and you can see it's so beautiful here. And that's why we love living here. And there's really no better place to live than Eretz Yisrael. We absolutely love it. Well, let me tell you what's on today's show. First of all, you're going to have a chance to win lots of raffle tickets. That is really great, but you need to make sure you have with you pen and a paper, okay? So go around, run and grab pen and paper because I'm going to ask you different questions, ask you to remember certain things, tell you the Hebrew word of the day, and then you're going to write them down and then send them to me. And if you do that, then you'll win raffle tickets, and with the raffle tickets, you can win great prizes. Okay, after the raffle tickets and everything that we're going to win, we're going to hear a story about soldiers crying at the Kotel. It is a very, very good story, and you're going to absolutely love it. Then we're going to do the Hebrew word of the day, which is going to be incredible. Everybody loves the Hebrew word of the day. You're going to write, you'll be able to send it to me to win prizes. Okay, then we're going to take a trip to a special secret spot in Israel. I'll tell you what it is later. And then we're going to play a game, win some more tickets, and that'll be the end of our show. Okay, so let's go. And we're going to do the first thing we're going to do is we're going to watch this story. This is a great story. You guys are going to absolutely love it. Uh-oh, what'd I do? I did something. I don't know what I did. That was very silly. Okay, here we go. Here is the story. Get ready. Shalom. I want to tell you a story about something that happened here at the Kotel. Here we are at the Kotel about 54 years ago from when 53 years ago from when I'm recording this video. In 1967, at the end of or in the middle, I should say, of the Six-Day War, paratroopers from the Israeli army came into Yerushalayim for the first time in 19 years. This was a big joy. They didn't know that there was going to be a war. They didn't know that they were going to be so successful that they'd be able to go to Yerushalayim and conquer Yerushalayim and unite all of Yerushalayim together. And until that point, Jews were not allowed to go and daven at the Kotel. They weren't allowed to pray here at the Kotel. So it was a very big, joyous occasion. And many of the soldiers came up to the Kotel for the first time. And they started touching the wall of the Kotel. And they started praying at the Kotel. And a famous rabbi, who was the rabbi of the army, his name was Rabbi Shlomo Gorin, Zecher Tzaddik Levracha, came and blew shofar at the Kotel and said, Har Habayit Biyadenu. And they had special tefillot. Now, not all of the soldiers understood or were religious enough to know how to daven. Some of them grew up in homes where they didn't know how to daven. And they didn't know how to, now they spoke Hebrew because they were Israeli and the army spoke Hebrew, but they didn't know how to daven. So some of the soldiers were praying so hard. They were davening so hard, and some were saying Tehillim, and some were just thanking Hashem with their own words. Some were so taken and they were so emotional that they were crying. What a powerful moment for them. The first time at the Kotel, and they were the first Jews in 19 years to be able to go to the Kotel, and they were the soldiers that would forever be remembered as the heroes who won the battle to take back Yerushalayim and the Kotel for the Jewish people. And they were so emotional, they were crying. Well, there was a group of soldiers who had fought together. They didn't live in the same place. They didn't really see each other when they weren't together in the army. But when soldiers fight together in the army, they become like brothers. They become so close. And 3 of these soldiers were standing up against the Kotel and they were crying. They weren't crying because they were in pain. They weren't crying because they were sad. They were crying because they were so happy. And these were very religious soldiers. They had studied Torah and yeshiva. They knew what Yerushalayim was all about, and they knew how powerful this moment was, and because of it, they were crying. And they took off their helmets, and they had their kippahs on, and they took out their tzitzis, and they were davening and praying and thanking Hashem. And their friend, who was not religious, who didn't know how to daven, his parents didn't teach him about the Torah or any mitzvot at all. But he was standing up against the Kotel, and he was crying also. And his friends at a certain point turned and looked at him, and they said, "It's so strange. We know why we're crying. We learned all about Yerushalayim. We know how special this is." But they turned to him and they said, "But your parents didn't teach you to be religious. They didn't teach you the beauty of the mitzvot and the beauty of the Torah. They told you that you should do whatever you want, and you don't have to follow the Torah, and you don't know the Torah." So they turned to him and they said, "Why are you crying?" And he said, "I have to tell you the truth." And as he told them this, he was crying. And he said to them, "Let me tell you, I'm crying because I don't know why I should cry. I feel so sad that I don't know about how special Yerushalayim really is. That's why I am crying. You're crying because you know how special this place is. I'm crying because I don't know how special it is." And that's why it's so important that all of us understand just how special Yerushalayim is, just how unique and how much of a gift it is from Hashem to have Yerushalayim and to be able to go to the Kotel and daven. And one day, behind this wall, we're going to build a Beit HaMikdash. And Yerushalayim is going to be bnuyah, it's going to be rebuilt. And as beautiful and as special as it is to be in Yerushalayim now, it's going to be even more special then. I can't wait. Shalom. Okay, that was a great, great story. Now we've got to get back to our regular screen, back to the show screen, because now what we're going to do is something very cool. We are going to do the Hebrew word of the day. Okay, what do you think it is? Can you guess? I don't know if you can guess. Very hard to guess, but here we go. It is shulchan, a table. Okay, shulchan means a table. Let me get it out of the way so you can see. Here we go. Okay, table and shulchan. That is the Hebrew word of the day. So what you want to do is you want to write down shulchan. Write down shulchan on your piece of paper. Okay, and then you want to send it right here to this email address. If you send it to this email address, then you can get raffle tickets. And then with the raffle tickets, you can win prizes. That is the whole goal, to win the prize. So shulchan, now you know another Hebrew word, you know shulchan, and that is a great, great Hebrew word to know. Okay, now I have to tell you, we're going to go somewhere on a special trip. This is really exciting. You don't have to buckle your seatbelts because you don't have to get in the car to go on this trip. But I was in my car and I had my seatbelt buckled because we're going to go on a trip. And right at the start of the trip, we're going to be on the road. There's not going to be any like me standing there introducing. It's just going to be straight on the road, and we're going to go to a secret place. Get ready. No one you know, except for me, has ever been to this place. You ready? It's really that special. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to get it open for you, and you are going to absolutely love this. This is really cool. This is really exciting, guys. You should be really excited. Be very exciting. Here we go. Watch. Okay, we are on our way to a special place, and it's a little bumpy of a road, but we are going to go. You can see all these wonderful trees here. These are palm trees, and dates grow on these trees because this area is famous for growing dates. Okay, so there are dates that grow on palm trees. Also, you can get your lulav from these trees. You can see there are baby trees over here and fully grown adult trees over here. Baby, adult, baby, adult. And coming up here is the guard booth. We're gonna go tell the guard that we're coming in, and he'll let us go in. You can see the flags, the Israeli flag, and the flag for the nature reserve. Now it gets very bumpy over here. Okay, and we are going to stop here and then continue the drive in 1 second after we talk to security. Okay, so you could see before we go to the spot, and we have to drive a long way, you can see, but there are signs that say Bruchim Habayim, it says welcome, and it says Reshut HaTeva Vaganim, that means that it's the Israeli Park Service, okay, that runs this. Okay, and now watch this. Do you see all the desert around us? Okay, so this is a really cool desert drive that you take to get up here. There's a very thin road that you drive on to get here. You can see. And we're going to drive all the way, and then we're going to see some really old buildings and some mountains all the way in the distance. But look at this. Now you get up here, and you can see all of the things around us, everywhere around us, and how cool it is here. Okay, we're gonna pick up when we get there. Okay, today we are at a very special place, a place where hardly anyone ever gets to go in Eretz Yisrael. This is a place that is really important today, but was really important about 3,000 years ago. Now, if you've studied your Torah, and I know that most of you have, you know that thousands of years ago, the Jews were slaves in Egypt. And then Hashem said to Moshe, I want you to go and free the Jewish people. And when you free them, we're going to go through the desert, and we're going to go to our own land, to Eretz Yisrael. I'm going to bring you into Eretz Yisrael. And Hashem took Bnei Yisrael through a very long path, a long way to get to Eretz Yisrael. It took them 40 years. Now, truth be told, it's only about a week's walk from Egypt to Israel. But Hashem took them for 40 years, and they walked all the way around Israel until they got to another part of Israel across from a river called the Jordan River. And when they got to the Jordan River, there was a river in front of them, a very big river, and they didn't know how to cross it. And Moshe Rabbeinu had already died, and Yoshua had taken over. And Yoshua was the one who was going to bring the people into Eretz Yisrael. And they stood at the river, and they didn't know what they were going to do. And all of a sudden, Yoshua put his hands over the river, and the river split, just like it did for Bnei Yisrael when they left Egypt. And that was how they came into Eretz Yisrael. We're at that very spot right where the river split and Bnei Yisrael came in. And we're going to get to go see that today. That's the special spot. Okay, so this spot that we're in now is a really popular spot. There are thousands of people that come here a day, but it's usually not Jewish people because Christians really like this spot for their religion. But I'm going to show you. So here, people sit. You can see there are people behind me here. You can see there are actual soldiers behind me also guarding this place to make sure it stays safe. And all through here, you can see there are places for people to sit over there And there are places for people to sit over there, and people actually come and pray here, not usually Jews. And then you could sit over here, and here you see there are a lot of palm trees, because behind me, that's where the river is. We're going to get to go there, okay? So, but I just wanted to show you this spot where everybody comes, and they all come here, and they all sit here, and they have a tour guide that usually explains to them. Today I'll be your tour guide about the different things that there are to see. And you can see there are a lot of, I'm going to show you over here, there are a lot of pretty flowers, because even though we're sitting in the desert and it's right now, it's so hot, it's 107 degrees, 107 degrees. It's so hot, but because there's water here in the desert, things can grow. And I'm not just talking about like cactus trees that grow in the desert. I'm going to show you some beautiful flowers behind me. Okay, and then I'm going to show you the really special things. But here, look at these flowers that they have. These beautiful white flowers that grow here because of the water. And you can you see them? Let me see if I bring them up here. You can see these white, beautiful flowers that they have. And over here are some other flowers I'll show you. And it's amazing that they can grow in the heat. You can see them here. Okay, so soon we're gonna go down to the river and see the actual river. Okay, so now we are going to walk down to the river that split when Bnei Israel came into Eretz Yisrael. This is the river. So here we go. Okay, we are going down. Now watch this. Now the water used to be this high, so high up. Look at this, look how far. Just 8 years ago, it was this high, but they shut the water from coming from all the way up north. Here is the river. Now it used to be much higher. It used to be high, high, high in the air, and now it's very low. You can see how low it is, and you can see how thin the water is, but here you see these beautiful trees, again, growing here and here. Now here's the craziest part. Look how you can go down and look how dirty the water is. People actually go in this water. Look how yucky it is and how gross it is. But people go into this water, and right over there is a different country. Do you see the flag there? That's not the flag of Israel. That's the flag of Jordan. And people actually can go right up here. This is right at the end of Eretz Yisrael. Or you could say that this is the beginning of Eretz Yisrael. And Jews, when they came from Mitzrayim, they stood right over here. 3 million Jews came over here. Now again, you have to picture the river was much, much bigger, but they all stood at the river and they wanted to cross. And they said to Yoshua, Yoshua, how can we cross this river? Now again, keep in mind, the river was much bigger. And Yoshua said, I don't know. And Hashem said, when the Jews needed to cross the sea, and when they left Mitzrayim, I did a nace for them. And they're going to say, if I don't do a nace now, that nace was only for Moshe and not for the Jewish people. So, and now that Moshe is not here, Hashem's not going to help the Jewish people anymore. But Hashem wanted to show that Yoshua was just as powerful as Bnei Israel. So, what Hashem did was, as Moshe Rabbeinu, sorry. So what Hashem did was he had Yoshua put his hands over this river, and the river split into two parts, and Bnei Israel crossed over here. And look, when they came over here, this is what, I mean, it wasn't built up like this. This is new the way it's built. But they came into beautiful Eretz Yisrael. And this was the beautiful land of Eretz Yisrael. So I want you to picture in your mind, it's thousands of years ago, and you're 8 years old, and you are going to cross the river to come into Eretz Yisrael for the first time. And now you could say that you were there. This is the spot that Bnei Israel were in. This is it. This is the very, very spot that they were in. Okay? So that's how cool it is. And imagine, would you be scared? Would you be happy? Would you be excited? What would you feel if you were about to cross into Eretz Yisrael for the very first time, and you got to see these beautiful palm trees and this beautiful land, but there was this river in front of you, and you didn't know if you could swim or if you could make it across, and then all of a sudden, Yoshua puts his hands across the river, and it splits open, and you're able to cross on dry land where there wasn't even a drop of water,
and you come into Eretz Yisrael for the first time, you know that you're not a slave anymore, that you're not living in somebody else's land, but this is Eretz Yisrael. This is the Jewish people's land. And one day you're going to have a Beit HaMikdash here, and one day there's going to be Korbanot, and one day, maybe, everybody watching this video, just like the Jews 3,000 years ago, maybe they'll also be able to come to Eretz Yisrael and live here just like our ancestors did so long ago. That's the end of our trip. I hope you enjoyed it a lot.
Okay, that was great. Absolutely, absolutely great. Okay, so now we are going to play our game. Hold on one second. Let me just get the right screen up here so that you'll know how to win the game. We're going to play a game, and it's a memory game, okay? And I'm going to tell you 5 things, and you should write the 5 things down, and after you write the 5 things down, send them to this email address. I'm going to say them one time only this game. You ready? The first word is Kotel. The second word is praying. The third word is crying. The fourth word is table. And the fifth word is Yehoshua. Send those to this email address and you can win raffle tickets. And here for the end of our show, here is the last question. And you get this and send it to me, you can get 2 raffle tickets. What is this week's Parsha? Okay, that's the end of our show. Don't forget, in Shul, every week they hand out the Shabbos Fun Letter. You don't want to miss this. It has prizes, games, jokes, so many things, Divrei Torah. You can't miss this one. This is incredible. Make sure you get your copy in Shul on Shabbat. Okay, everybody. Bye-bye.